Welcome back to Chris Veve Journey. Happy to have you back on my channel, or hello if it's the first time for you. I wanted to talk about the Nova drop and I wanted to talk about the Mickey Sorcerer drop also. But we start with the book and I guess we get right into it. Back on the browser view. So yes, Marvel Digital Comics Nova 13 from Nova 1 from 2013. So okay, odd choice, in my opinion. Odd choice why they use this comic. So this is the first solo series from Sam Alexander. They have a quite nice recap about it here. I was pretty surprised to see such a nice write-up about the comic. Nice idea. So this is not the original Nova most comic fans from back in the day know. This is the younger version who is, I guess, pretty popular among young people, because if I remember correctly, the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series had a Nova in it, and that was Sam Alexander. So that's quite nice to know. But that is like a kids series for kids that are around, I don't know, 9 maybe 10 today. Those are the kids that watch this series. So this is an interesting choice because it is not his first appearance. It is just his first solo series, and it is not an expensive book by any stretch of the imagination. So it's a 20k edition book. $6.99 is the price. And yeah, that's a... I really think Veve has gone the way that $6.99 is the throwaway comic book. Like the good comic books, that's 20s now. If it's a throwaway comic book, that's a $6.99 one, because they were too cheap anyway. And now now it's pretty much like regular comics. You buy a book, and usually it just loses in value, which I don't even criticize. Like, you know, if you like the book, you buy the book. If you don't like the book, don't buy the book. So that makes, I guess, quite some sense. So let's look at the book itself. So this is the regular cover from 2013. So there's nothing else in this book. It's not like it has a, I don't know, like any other first appearances, or there's another first appearances, but it's just his parents, so that's not special, and his sister, so it's just family first appearances. Nobody usually cares about that. So yeah, regular cover, it's okay, it's fine, but it's not classic because it's too young of a book. It's also pretty regular cover. Not dissing the artist in any way. It looks good. It's not bad, not at all, but not special, not iconic. I don't know, it's whatever. It's the first cover, right? So the uncommon is another Scotty Young cover, which makes me think, is there some kind of Scotty Young collaboration? For whatever reason do we get so many Scotty Young covers? Maybe David Yu is a big Scotty Young fan. I have no idea about that. But I'm all for not getting these lame black and white versions of the original cover. I take a Scotty Young cover any day over those. Like basically almost all covers any day over those. So that's great that we get the Scotty Young variant. Then we have rare and ultra rare covers by one of my favorite artists, Todd Knock. So this is like my least favorite Todd Knock cover on Veve, but it's still a Todd Knock cover, so I'm pretty much going to get it at some point. Most likely these, I'm not going for the drop with these books. I mean, I already told you the last time about the Mickey drop. I'm trying to avoid drops right now. I'm not going to participate in drops that I think is not going to get me money right away. So I pass on all those drops and I just go for the books in the marketplace when the prices are down, and prices are pretty down. If you want a rare, usually now the rares even go below drop price. Like even the Ghost Rider one, which was just released, the rare and secret rare are both super great. Like you want to have both because they look both great, and the rare is below drop price. So That's easy one, right? Why would I go for the drop then? And even the ultra rare, I don't know, 15 bucks maybe. And then we have the secret rare. Now the secret rare was pretty confusing for some people, because that's actually the cover from Nova issue 2. It was planned to have been the issue for, the cover for a variant from issue 1, was then cancelled and made for the number 2 of the book, which they explain in this part here. And I checked it with Go Collect. There was a Go Collect website. They made the news about it that the book was cancelled for one, so that is true. I'm pretty skeptical with those statements, so I always double check. Yeah, that's true. Why they chose it as the secret rare, I think there's no reveal of the character. This is not the first time Sam Alexander is seen as Nova, so you don't have that reveal that you can put prominently on the cover. And why they instead went with this, I have no idea. I don't think it's bad. I think there might be some people that would even enjoy to have the cover that was meant for issue 1. Now they can have it as issue 1 variant edition in the digital format. So I guess maybe that's what people really want to see. Otherwise it doesn't hurt. It's J. Scott Campbell variants usually are looking really great. I do think there were some options, like there's a 1 in 100 variant cover by Joe Quesada, which is super dope. That would have been a nice choice, and the 1 in 100 is like pretty expensive on the aftermarket, so that would have been a nice option. But I mean, that's just personal preference. I mean, if it's one or the other, it doesn't really matter. This looks great. It's the secret rare, so we're all good. About the prices, so if you take the original cover, if you want the 9.8 of that will cost you around 150 bucks. Yes, 9.8, 150 bucks. So that's not much. What's even worse is you could buy the original Nova book. That's The Man Called Nova #1. And you can have a 8.0 for under $150. So you can save a few bucks, and instead of getting this one in the 9.8, you get the 8.0 from the 1976 release book, The Man Called Nova 1, which is the Nova most people will recognize easier. I would always go with that one. And you can even get a 8.5 for 180 bucks. And even if you go up to a 9.6, that's just a few $100 bucks. It's only the 9.8 that's really expensive from The Man Called Nova 1. That goes for around, I guess, 2K, what I saw last time. So that's no longer comparable to this one, but you can have like this one in 9.8 or 8.0 of a really classic book. I'd always go with the latter, but I don't know. Everyone has to decide for himself. If you're a big Sam Alexander fan, there's nothing wrong in getting the 9.8, and you can get the 9.6 of the Sam Alexander book for less than 50 bucks, and this is graded. You can easily buy a 9.6 before you let any of your books being graded, because it's cheaper. If you consider shipping back and forth, it's just easier to just get the 9.6 right away if you're not sure if you would make it a 9.8. So that's funny. That's pretty cheap books. Yeah. So yes, this will go below 2 gems easy. The common will be below 2 gems easy. The uncommon will be maybe 2 or 3 gems, and while we have the rare will also be available for less than 7 gems. I'm pretty sure about that. So yeah, think if you want to take the gamble on the $6.99 blind box, if you want to make a profit, if you want to have the book, and if you don't care about the cover, you can easily go and just take the blind box. I think that's always valid. In my opinion, I know what I want. I'm not too keen on the secret rare. I don't want the common, I don't want the uncommon. It's just the Todd Knock covers for me, so I will just go get them in the marketplace. I also don't want to support Eevee's current system. That's why I don't go for drops, but that's another story. So I guess that pretty much covers the book itself. Which means there's one thing I wanted to talk about more. That was the Disney drop. So, check out my Disney drop video if you don't know what I'm talking about. But the thing was, I was really mad because I was expecting higher prices in the marketplace. It's something we don't see. That's interesting. So, prices are really down. It's Monday night here in Germany. So, the uncommon one, the animated and sound effect having uncommon one, is actually below drop price, which amazes me. This thing looks great. I guess a lot of people were turned off that the water isn't moving. I wasn't surprised. I saw right away that the water won't be moving. I was expecting some kind of effect to see water sparkles, whatever. That didn't happen. So that is really a little bit of a downside. But I mean, it's not too bad. It still looks great in my opinion. So getting this below drop price is interesting, at least. The ultra rare is far behind the drop price. Right now it was like 35 bucks. That is cheap. That is really cheap for an ultra rare. I can barely see it go below that because, I mean, you at least get ultra rare MCP points. Most likely. Soon. Whenever. So that's interesting. The secret rare, on the other hand, is the one that is climbing up in price, which is interesting because if you look at the price of the secret rare, the set price keeps being the same because the amount of the gems, the uncommon and ultra rare drops, the secret rare accumulates. So for whatever reason, if you need to complete set, you're still stuck at the same price. For me personally, I didn't want to have it. I had such a bad feeling towards this drop that I said, okay, if I have this in my vault, I will look at it and it will just remind me of a really, really bad decision on Veve's end, and it will make me mad. But as I also said, I think it's one of the most beautiful NFTs they created so far, and if I can have it for really cheap, I might go get it. I have no idea what I'm going to do if I get it, if I don't get it, but these prices are tempting. I have to say. I guess I wait for another 1 or maybe 2 days looking at the prices, and then I will decide if I get at least the uncommon. I don't know. I don't think I need the ultra rare and the secret rare, so maybe I just take the uncommon. Just because I like the collectible. That's the point here. That's the point. That's why I'm count myself as a collector. It's just, yeah, I like the collectible, so that's why I may be getting it. Another interesting point about that is we use a lot of Telegram here in Germany, so that's what it's looked like, right? So that's a messaging service, and there's groups, and I'm in one of those groups, and I made I asked everyone to participate in one of my, what's the word for it? So they had to click on answers I gave them to a question. I can't think of the word. What's it? Embarrassing. I had to Google it. A poll. That was the word I couldn't remember. I had a poll. So, and I asked everyone. I asked the people that were successful in the Aladdin lamp drop. I asked those people that have been successful if they have also been successful in the drop of the Mickey Mouse. Because they didn't need to use their voucher, their code, whatever. They could just simply participate in the drop. And it was a really small poll, a little bit above 100 people. And half of them just wanted to look at the results. They didn't want to look at they weren't successful in the Aladdin drop, but they wanted to see the results. So that's what I clicked on. And I had 34 people that said they were successful in the Aladdin drop and also successful getting the Mickey Mouse. 34 people. And then I had 23 people that said they were successful in the Aladdin drop, but not successful in the Mickey Mouse drop. So there's a little bit over half of those people that have been successful have also been successful in the Mickey Mouse drop. And that is something I also mentioned in my video before. I was under the impression that there's quite a bunch of people that seem to be overly successful. And yeah, there's something like luck. There's people that are just lucky. And there's people that have just bad luck. I totally get that. And I know sometimes it's very subjective, the way you look at it. You have a personal bias, all the stuff. That's why I like to make those polls and why I take a lot of screenshots from a lot of people talking about it, so I can have an idea. And this poll, this is not scientific. It's a little bit over 100 people, and most of them don't even are part of these questions. So yes, this is not at all scientific. I get that. But still, it is funny that the Mickey Mouse drop had a little bit more than half of the amount of the Aladdin drop. And I have a little bit more than half that were successful in the Aladdin drop and the Mickey Mouse drop. So even that small amount of people, like, that is really quite even distribution about collectibles. If you say the same people that are successful in one drop that is hard to get are also successful in other drops that are hard to get. So what does that mean? That means that I mean, for me, it's another indicator. I mean, this is not proof because it's not enough people to make a scientific guess, I would say. But for me personally, this is just another proof that I'm right, that there's people that get drops quite easier. And this is not depending on phone. This has nothing to do with phones. It's not like you can get the newest iPhone and then you're super successful in the drop. That's not it. I've seen a lot of people making that argument, and I've seen a lot of people making that argument considering their internet connection that is very fast. But I've seen enough counter arguments of other people, so that evens out with what other people say. I don't think that is realistic. I think location seems to be a factor. This is something that I thought, because I see people that are in some areas are way more successful than others. At least it looks like it. It's small numbers. It's hard to take it scientifically, but that's what I think, and that makes the most sense at this point. And yeah, there's always a few guys that say, yeah, but I was in a bad location, I had really bad internet, I still scored one. Yes, this is one. Like, it's not an even distribution. There's always some spikes in the statistics. So this just screams that we need that queue system, and I think the queue system is ready. That's what Reese says in one of his interviews. I don't get why we don't get a queue system. Just get it over with. And look, I don't even think I would get more in the queue system. That's not what it's about. That's what everyone tells me. If there's a queue system, you won't be more successful. I don't care. I can even be less successful. That's not the point. The point is to make it fair. In a queue system, if I don't get something, it doesn't feel as bad than not to get something and see the same people getting it again, and obviously something is not built in a fair way. That is really bad. Exceptionally bad if you look how the system works, that most of the people are flippers. So they get exceptionally more stuff than other people, and they just flip it, and then they flip it very expensive. And just annoying as hell. As someone who really collects, it's really, really annoying. And I do flip. Every collector does flip. It's part of the game. You do flip to get better with your collection. Like, if you can flip two mediocre pieces to get one great piece, then you will do it. If you're lucky enough, you can even flip a mediocre piece and get two great pieces. Yeah, sometimes even that happens. That's all fine, but I don't know. People get crazy with reasons for special bins. Like, I saw this one dude in a group there was one mint of the Mickey sitting in the marketplace, the secret rare. That was actually the one. It has some year number, like 1925. I have no idea what the number was. And then he said, so nobody wanted to buy it at floor. It was near floor price. Nobody bought it. Then a few hours later, one guy bought it. He relisted at 1.4k, if I remember correctly, and then advertised it as being very special because that was the year Disney released their first colored animation. And I was like, what the hell? Nobody cares. It's just, it was just, when you Google the time with Mickey Mouse, then that's the first thing you find. Like, that's by random chance, Google will say, oh yeah, that's what you were looking for. People get desperate here to get big prizes. Nobody's paying that right now. That's interesting. So, but we're at 20 minutes. I was rambling on way too much. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, leave a like. And if you want to see more infos about comics and whatever, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, that's it. So I'm out. Yeah, if you participate in the drop, good luck on the drop. And if not, good luck with the next drop. See you. Bye-bye.